13, perversion. A sickness has overtaken the religious Zionist community. The engagement in and the celebration of violence, of might, kochi v'otzem yadi, my power and the might of my hands, in our name and in the name of God. And for the religious Zionist community, I know I said this last year as well, right, we've replaced God as a central belief with a central belief in Israel. Israel has replaced God as the central belief of Judaism. Lo zu haderech. We can no longer sit idly by. Judaism itself has been sullied. To the world at large, it appears as if Judaism supports the massacre of innocents, the stealing of land and sheep, the burning of homes, the uprooting of olive trees, and the murder of children. We cannot allow this to continue. I can only yell Gewalt. We have to save Judaism. What can be done? No. What must be done? Apart from the discussion that we just had in the breakout room on Eretz Kulam, a land for all, which is a practical approach with a program for resolution of the conflict, I want to focus on what needs to be the central, most important response from the religious Zionist community, from the Jewish community. And that's a complete revision of the religious Zionist or this general Zionist educational curriculum on the basis of a programmatic formulation that was presented by Jonathan Sachs. He wrote, Zionism phase 1 avers it gave back to Jewry what it lacked in dispersion, sovereignty and a state. That we've achieved. That was the goal of political Zionism. But that's not all. Zionism phase 2, he continues, must reappropriate what Jewry had when it lacked a state, namely a profound sense of responsibility to the weak, the poor, the socially marginalized, the neglected, and the unheard. This must become the focus of a renewed Zionism. The challenge, then, for a revitalized religious Zionism is to build a society worthy of being a home for the divine presence by honoring the divine image of all the inhabitants of the land. Our task moving forward is to uphold a Zionism of values centered on ethics over and against the manifest Zionism of power. We must draw on those sources of our tradition that direct us away from the ecstasy of cataclysmic, magical, messianic delusions and move on to the staged fulfillment of our human responsibility. Gradual change. Move away from demonization of the other to the humanization of our brother. Move away from the depraved dream of Jewish supremacy to the practical halakha, Jewish law, of chukah achat, one law for all, for Jews and Palestinians, equality and dignity. Let me remind you that Rabbi Mital, who was the head of the yeshiva in Alon Shvut, declared that the Israeli Declaration of Independence has normative status. We should all, if we care, hang up in our salons the Declaration of Independence and every day read the paragraph that says that Israel obligates itself to equality of all its citizens and to live by the spirit of the prophets of Israel. And ask ourselves every day, how are we doing? How are we doing in this standard that we have raised as our standard, not external to ourselves? How are we living up to what we aspire to? And make judgment and progress on the basis of that judgment. And in Rabbi Meel's words, move away from a tzionut shel sin'ah, a Zionism of hatred, to a tzionut shel hibah, to a Zionism of love. Let me remind you of how I ended last year. I won't tell you the whole story, but what I said was in the town where the watches broke down, one guy kept unwinding the watches. When the watchmaker came, that was the only watch he could repair. We must keep on winding. Keep on talking about peace. If we stop talking about peace, we stop believing in peace. We have an obligation, and the situation has a claim on us to respond.